What's up everybody, PA Outdoors here. I was tagged recently by Pioneer Survival Company to answer 8 questions, and then I'm going to tag 5 other channels after this. So, got them written down here, and I haven't really thought much about these until now. I just wrote them down, so here we go. Question number 1, your most memorable camping experience. There's been a lot of good ones. Probably the most memorable one, and not due to anything crazy happening or excitement or anything like that, but was probably several years ago. It would have been my father's last camping trip. We actually celebrated, I think, his 71st birthday. We rented a cabin at a place we used to go camping to twice a year, every year since I was a little kid. And like I said, we rented a cabin, we celebrated his 71st birthday there, had a birthday cake. My 2 oldest sons at the time were pretty little. Got some great pictures of them with their grandfather. Spent some time around the campfire. He went on a nice little hike with me. It was really, really good. You know, at the time, didn't know that was going to be his last camping trip, but it was, and it was definitely the most memorable for me. Let's see, number 2, solo or group camping. I don't really have a preference. I enjoy both. Growing up as a kid, it was always large groups, multiple families all going camping together, which was great as a kid. There were lots of the kids my age, we could play. But as I got older, you know, small groups, intimate groups, and I definitely enjoy solo camping. Just gives you a chance to get out there and just relax. And just kind of let your mind go and not focus on much other than just enjoying yourself. Number 3, favorite knife. I've got a lot of them, and you know, each knife does one task better than another task. That being said, I think I always go back to a Condor bush oar. It's just, it does everything I ask a knife to do. It does most tasks fairly well. And it's like a $40, $50 knife, you can't beat it. You know, I've got a Gerber strong arm that I enjoy using, but I always go back to that bush oar. That being said, I do have, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be receiving my first quick hatch knife. And all the stuff I've read about it, all the reviews I've seen online, and all the people I've talked to that own one, all tell me this is probably it will be my favorite knife moving forward. So I'm excited about receiving that here in a few weeks. Question 4, where did I learn bushcraft? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I learned bushcraft from my father, but I learned about camping, I learned about the outdoors from my father. He was a woodworker, I think I've mentioned in other videos, and man, could that guy identify trees. He could look at the bark on a tree and tell you what kind of tree it was. You know, in the summer, springtime, it's fairly easy. You look at the leaves, you know what the tree is. But, you know, when it's winter and there are no leaves on the trees, he could still walk up to it, take a look at it, look at the bark, look on the ground around and say, yep, that's so-and-so. And just camping, fire building, you know, those sorts of things I learned from my dad. I kind of took a break from it, you know, as a teenager. Other things happened, work, hanging out with friends, all that stuff. And then several years ago, I got to go to a wilderness survival class by Blackthorn USA in Kansas. And that really sparked my interest again. And that's what got me re-involved in going outdoors and being a little more primitive about it, learning a few more primitive skills, that sort of thing. Number 5, favorite fire starting method. Now I try and practice, you know, as many as I can, whether it be, you know, bow drill, friction fire, or flint and steel, which I enjoy doing. But my favorite fire starting method has to be a ferro rod. It's just it takes a little bit of practice and skill. You know, it's not quite as easy as just lighting a lighter, but it's also not as labor intensive as like a bow drill fire. So it kind of in between ground between a lighter and a bow drill. I like a ferro rod a lot. Most of my fires are lit with a ferro rod. Number 6, most essential piece of gear. Man, there's a lot of them. There's 2 that I can think of right at the top of my head would be a knife and some sort of metal cooking container. Primarily because those 2 things are not impossible, but extremely hard, labor intensive to reproduce out of natural materials. But if I had to pick one, I would say a knife. I can't think of, especially if you want to make a knife, you need to really find the perfect materials. You need something along the lines of flint, quartz, chert, a piece of glass, something that you can nap down to make a cutting edge. And if you can't find those things, man, you're in a lot of trouble. So, knife, cooking container, because as far as boiling water over a fire, it's pretty hard to do without metal. It can be done. It's hard to do, but if you held me down, I would say a knife. Yeah, because I got excited. I thought that was my new knife. No, it was something my wife ordered. That's okay. Let's see. Number 7. Where? Yeah, number 7, right? Yeah. Do I carry a bug-out bag in my car? Yes, I do. Now, I don't consider it a bug-out bag. I consider it more of a get-home bag. It's got a lot in it, but it's not this great big 72-hour bag or inch bag. It just has 24-hour essentials plus a little bit. It does have a tarp for cover. It's basically the 10 C's. I mean, that's what it covers. And there's also a wool blanket I keep in my truck. So yes, I do carry a bug-out bag. I carry an emergency bag in my car, and it does change with the seasons, as well as other gear, jumper cables, a tool set, a fire extinguisher, those sorts of things. And number 8, alcohol, wood, or gas stove. I use all 3, and I use all 3 quite a bit. So really it depends for me. Wintertime, usually a fire, because I have a fire going almost all the time. So it's easily just to put something on there to cook on it. Summertime, if you're doing any like hardcore summer camping, July, August, it's really warm throughout the day. And I just can't justify wasting the wood for a fire that I don't really need to heat myself. So a lot of times I'll use gas or alcohol, and if it's a summertime camp with a group of people, it's just easier to use gas. Especially if you're car camping, I just pull out the Coleman stove and use that. But I use all 3 pretty regularly, so I don't think I have one favorite over other. It's all dependent on circumstances. So that is all 8. I think I covered them as well as I could. Again, I want to thank Pioneer Survival Company for tagging me in this video. And I'm going to tag 5 channels, and that is going to be these guys. Right, and I will post in the comments section, or not in the comments, in the description box, I will put a link to the Pioneer Survival Company's channel, as well as the 5 that I tagged, so you can go check out all those guys. And that's it. This is pretty fun. Never really put much thought into many of these questions, so it was pretty cool answering them. PA Outdoors, please like, share, comment on the video here, subscribe to my channel. That's always appreciated. And get outdoors, enjoy yourself, but remember, be safe out there. Thanks for watching.